So here's some problems and fixes on the Harley Davidson Pan America. In the earlier models, they were having an issue, it seems, with the brake reservoir getting some moisture in there. So if you have one of those little checkers that checks for moisture in your brake fluid, those are real handy to have. They're real cheap on Amazon too. But the earlier models, they did have a slight problem with having moisture in them. So I had to get my brake fluid flushed at about, I say at about the 10,000 mile mark. When got it flushed. Chain maintenance. Chains on this thing are pretty easy to take care of. They don't need much adjustment. Once you start adjusting them though, once they start needing adjustment, it's time to look at getting a new chain. My chain didn't need hardly any adjustment until it started to go bad. Now, you can tell that the chain is going bad, not only because you have to keep adjusting it and it just kind of just gets out of whack super quick. There's this thing that'll happen around where the chain is on the front sprocket. You'll see like this little, it almost looked like rust dust. Like there's like a red dust that kind of covers that area. And what I was told was that is the chain. Like some of the O-rings have gone bad in the chain. That's why you need a new chain. And so it's basically rust dust getting out of the chain, you know, from inside the pins and all that stuff. Kind of freaked me out when I first saw it. I thought I had like some kind of coolant leak or something like that, because the coolant is red and it kind of had that same color to it, but it was almost like a dust or a film. If you order the chain from Harley, it comes as one piece. And to put it on, I believe you have to take the left foot peg off, because the mount is in the way of getting where the chain needs to be. But you don't have to worry about master links or anything like that. It comes as one piece. They're not that bad price-wise. I think they're under 200 bucks. They're not bad. And if I would have known how easy it was to change it, I would have changed the first one myself. They suggest you clean and lube it every 600 miles. That all depends on how you ride. If you ride in more dirt, you aren't gonna want to clean it a little bit more often. I clean my chain very often because I don't want to wear out my sprockets prematurely, and it just kind of helps everything stay in good shape. I'm still on my stock sprockets, so something's working. When I'm due for a new chain, I will probably replace the sprockets anyways, just to keep them fresh. Should probably change my cush drive also. I'm still on the stock one. If you know you're not gonna be riding the bike for a little while, like a few days to a week maybe think about keeping it on a trickle charger. It does help the battery quite a bit. What's up, dude? Ah, that's a new GSA. That's sick. I haven't seen one of those in the wild yet. The earlier models had a known problem where I believe it was the bottom radiator line, that one right there, off of the assembly line, I guess they were installed incorrectly on some of the bikes, to where they were installed way too close to the exhaust pipe. So after a little while, you would start to see a little melting burn spot on that hose. And eventually you would get a small pinhole leak. You'd start to leak out some coolant, and you need to get that replaced. It doesn't seem like that's much of an issue anymore. There are aftermarket companies that make a little shield you can put on there. It's like a little heat shield. It just kind of helps that from happening. But if there's enough space in between that hose and the exhaust pipe and the header, I've never seen mine have a problem. So mine seems to be spaced out correctly, and I ride my bike on hours, so it gets hot enough. Take that for what you will. Just kind of keep that in mind. That has been a known problem, especially if you get the earlier models like a 21 or a 22. Oil changes, like I said before, it's every 5,000 miles. If you get an earlier model, or if you have one of those earlier models, they have changed the procedure to do an oil change. I was actually really impressed with one of my dealers locally. I went to go pick up some oil, an oil filter, and he goes in the back to the service department, because that's where they keep the oil for it. And And a service guy came out with him and said like, hey, have you done this before? You know, there's a trick to it. And I've done all my oil changes since I got the bike, you know, other than the very first one that the dealership likes to do. And yeah, I know the trick. It's like, okay, because they updated how they do it. I was like, oh, well, that's cool. And so I went and I looked it up. Well, they'd updated it, or what they updated the procedure to. And what it is now, after you drain the oil and change the oil filter and everything like that, put everything back, put all the plugs back, to fill the oil, that's what's changed. So it has an initial fill of 2.5 quarts, and then you close everything up, you start the bike for 10 seconds, let the oil move around, let it get in the filter, let it get in all the spots it needs to be. Shut it off after 10 seconds, you check the dipstick once again, and I didn't know where that guy was going. Check the dipstick again, and then you want to fill it to the marked line that it tells you to. On mine, when I do it on the Jiffy stand, it tells you to fill it to the add to quart mark because the new oil isn't hot and it's kind of in this place. But to get an accurate reading is where they changed that. They no longer suggest you filling it on the Jiffy stand or the center stand. They want the bike to be upright and level. That way you can get a good clean reading on your oil level and make sure you have enough oil in there or not too much. If you put it on the center stand, yeah, the bike's upright, but it's not level. It kicks the back end up a bit, so it still gives you a false reading. On the Jiffy stand, if you have the adaptive ride height and it's in the low position, the bike will lean a little more, giving you another false reading. And since mine doesn't have that, I still had a problem with getting an accurate reading when I was filling the oil up the rest of the way. I think it's because there's where you put the oil in, there's a little shelf that the oil kind of just pools up in. So what I have to do is I have to tilt the bike up, put it back on the stand, check the oil, and I have to repeat that quite a few times to get the right oil level. So I guess their solution to that was make sure the bike's upright, not on any stands, just make sure it's upright and level, and check and fill it that way. And it can be a little bit of a pain in the ass. You know, you have to be on the bike or have the bike upright and hold that while checking and filling. I guess it's easier with the buddy, but it's not that bad, but it can be a pain in the butt. So keep in mind that they did change that procedure. If you have one of the older manuals, that's no longer valid. Another update that they did, at least for the 24 models, I don't know if they did them to the 23 models, but since the 24 models, they updated the whole charging system. So now there's a bigger battery, so you have a battery that can power all your electronics the right way. They wanted to make it a little bit smaller of a battery in the Pan Americas. I don't think it's an issue for mine because mine's a standard, but the specials have more electronics in them, so I don't think that charging system was adequate for all those systems. So yeah, they changed that. There's a little bit bigger of a battery in the system, and I think the charging system is updated and can handle more. You can get your old charging systems updated. It does cost money to do that. Unfortunately, it's not covered under like a warranty or a recall or anything like that. If you have a problem under warranty with your current charging system, there's a chance it'll be under warranty to replace it with the new one, because I don't think they're making the old ones anymore. So Harley is fixing these problems. They're minor problems, but they are addressing them. They are fixing them. I hope they continue to do that with the bike. I hope they just continue to make it more and more reliable. All right, I know the sun's in your face. Hopefully that'll change around this corner. I guess warranty-wise, my 2-year warranty was up last year, but what ended up happening is I ended up having a 1-year extension on that. I'm not sure the reason why. The motor company just sent me a thing, be like, yeah, we're extending it by a year. The extended warranties you have to pay a deductible on, but it's better than paying a whole repair bill. So, all right, fine, whatever. I went and purchased another 3-year warranty on this bike because it is a first generation model, and I just wanted to have that coverage. Like, not, you don't have to do it, but I wanted that coverage. I also got wheel and tire on it. Yeah, I got that because I'm rocking the, what are they? They're the cast wheels. I don't have the wire wheels. I would like a set of wire wheels. Yeah, I really want a set of wire wheels, but I don't have the extra cash to spend on that. So So I'm just rocking the cast wheels, and they've been great so far. Like, I don't do anything crazy, but if anything were to happen to those rims, I have that tire and wheel coverage that'll definitely save my ass if I need to replace a wheel. So yeah, guys, that's about it. Please leave a comment down below. Please subscribe. It definitely helps me out. And I will see you guys later. I have no idea why I'm in 6th gear. That is stupid. Yeah, what's going on? So owning the Pan America for about 3 years now. Fuck. That's a dumb thing to say.